If you want to level up your life and unlock the hottest, highest, and healthiest version of yourself, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to today's episode of Hot and Unbothered. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, my name is Brianna Gomez, and I am your host of Hot and Unbothered, the ultimate podcast for unlocking the hottest, highest, healthiest, most beautiful, stunning, perfected version of you. If you are here for a reason. I believe there is a reason why you clicked on this episode. There's a reason why you felt called to listen to this message. So go ahead, take a seat, take some notes, buckle up, get in for the ride of your life to become your ideal dream self. I have always wanted to do an episode for you guys where I just sit down and just articulate to you all of the big sisterly advice that I could possibly give you. Even if you're older than me, I feel like we can still give each other good advice like that. I don't know. I feel like we all experience such different things at different age ranges, and some people's experience at 21 years old is different than someone else's experience at 21 years old. So I feel like there's so much wealth and knowledge to share with each other. And I feel like all of us girls, we go through so many crazy, unique experiences, but that can apply so well to each other's lives. And so I figured, what better day than today to do this video because it's my birthday. Woo, the crowd goes wild. Oh my gosh. I'm 22 today and I wanted to just celebrate this with you guys. So I figured we should do a episode revolving around that. And today I wanted to do 21 things I learned at 21. And it's going to be all the big sisterly advice or life advice. So it's not really going to be generally speaking on like health or wellness or fashion or one certain topic, but overall just the best advice I could possibly give you and things that I wish I could tell my younger self, or I wish I could even tell myself like at the beginning of this year, things that I learned now. Again, because life is just full of so many crazy experiences and lessons. So I figured why not make an episode focused on that for you guys to celebrate my birthday, to round up the year, to just really sum it all up. Usually I get super excited for my birthday and I'm like a huge extravagant party girly, especially after like your 21st birthday. That's like the craziest one I feel like. But this year, honestly, like I'm craving something a little bit more intimate, I guess, and wholesome almost. Like I don't feel like going out and getting blackout drunk or like having a rager at my house with hundreds of people, but I think part of me is kind of missing my sister. I have an identical twin sister and it's our first birthday ever apart since we've been born. So that's interesting. She just moved out of the country. So I don't even think she listens to this. I know for a fact she doesn't listen to this. So I could just say that I miss her and this birthday is kind of weird for me because we usually spend like at least part of it together, and just knowing that she's apart feels kind of strange. So I think that's also why this does not feel like my birthday at all, especially that combined with how fast this year is going by, tripping me out. It's actually tripping me out. The way that it's already August is absolutely terrifying. Can we just talk about that? I feel like it was just Christmas like yesterday and now it's August. So happy August and happy birthday to me and my sister and all my other August babies out there. And if it's your birthday too, cheers to us. Happy birthday. I feel like we need like a little cake or something. I don't know. But I think my boyfriend and I are just going to do a little staycation and it'll be super nice and relaxing. And then I'm going to do a dinner party, I think the day after my birthday. And it's going to be bow themed and cute and Pinteresty. So keep up with me on my other socials like my Snapchat, my Instagram, TikTok, if you want to see the rest of my birthday festivities. Anyway, before we dive into today's episode, you guys know I love to share a podcast review. Today we have Ishale, I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. She said, I absolutely love your podcast and how big of an impact it has made in my day-to-day life. I'm forever and beyond grateful to you, so please keep up the good work. Thank you guys so much for the constant motivation to keep this podcast going, and also for that affirmation almost that people are actually listening to my podcast and that it's actually helping them. Like I know, I see the numbers that people are listening to it and watching it, but it's hard for me to imagine people actually like tuning in, really turning on their brains and digesting what I have to say. So I am forever grateful for that. And thank you guys so much. Every single comment, review, message, I read every single one. I love you guys from the very bottom of my heart, and your presence and your being here listening and taking this time with me that is the biggest birthday gift I could ever ask for. So thank you guys so much. Also, if you want to get yourself a birthday gift, I designed a set. It's my own clothing design. I released it, and I feel like that's the most exciting thing I've done in my year of being 21. So if you want to check that out, that would mean the world to me for my birthday. I'll have it linked for you guys. It's all sustainably made to order ethically by a family company in Brooklyn, New York, all handmade, built-in shorts, mix and match it, so versatile. Go check it out. All right, 21 things I learned at 21. Let's go. Number 1, you have to put your mental health over your social life. Saying no to plans is not going to kill you. I feel like when you're younger, especially in high school, or I know some people now who still, like, even if they are older, like, they still have this almost like obligation to people and this obligation to be social. And if you're an extrovert, that's a great thing if you truly enjoy and feel fueled by social outings. But for me personally, I've really learned to value like my introverted side. I'd say for most of my life, I've always been an extrovert, and I think I still am. You know, I can turn on my outgoing mode, but I've learned that you don't have to say yes to everything. I feel like there's a certain point like where it feels cool to be a yes person. You know, let's go get drinks. Yes, let's do something spontaneous. Yes, last minute trip. Like, yes, of course. And it is good to be spontaneous and live a little and, you know, live life on the edge. That is great, but there has to be a boundary. And I feel like for most of my life, I ignored that boundary. There was even a point in my life where one of my friends was like, Brianna, I feel like you always say yes to everything. At the time, it felt like such a huge compliment. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so cool. I'm a yes person. But really, like, you have to say no when it comes like between making a choice between like your social life and your mental health and well-being. Again, saying no to those plans is not going to kill you. You will have the opportunity to be social once again. Like, I promise there will be many other outings and opportunities. And so if you aren't feeling it, if you are feeling sick, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling drained, fatigued, whatever you may be, if you feel like you just don't want to go, if you feel like you want to break, if you feel like you want to sleep just a little bit longer, I think that's okay to do. And I feel like I used to be afraid, like, oh my gosh, my friends are gonna be so mad, like, if I say I can't go. But a true friend, if you come to them and you say, like, hey, like, you know, my physical well-being or my mental health just isn't at its best right now, and I think I really need to take it easy tonight. Rain check, maybe we could reschedule, do something a little more simple, something like that. You can offer an alternative, like maybe we could text, hang out on the phone, something like that. But a real friend will understand if you need to say no for the sake of your well-being. While we're on the topic of friends, number 2 is it's normal to outgrow people. I feel like you make a lot of friends throughout the first half of your life, especially based on proximity. You know, friends you met at school, friends who were neighbors, things like that, just like childhood friends. Maybe it was your mom's friend's son or something like that. Like, you make a lot of friends based off of proximity and convenience. And I have a whole other episode about fake friends and friendship breakups, things like that. And I'm not saying like ditch all your friends. I am by no means saying that. But there comes a certain point where it usually happens when you keep getting into like a little quarrel with these friends. You know, maybe they keep starting arguments. Maybe you feel like they have some kind of resentment that they hold against you. And that usually occurs when you guys are just no longer fitting into each other's lives anymore, and that's okay. You know, when you meet someone, especially when you're younger, you don't even know who you are yet. And so if you guys grow up and you start to part and grow in different directions, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's actually way more common than not. So, you know, you don't have to cling on to these friendships and relationships for dear life if you feel like they're no longer serving you. So learn how to let people go in and out of your life as they please instead of grasping onto them. You can wish them the best. You don't have to hold any ill will towards them, but it's completely normal to outgrow people, and I don't think they should make you feel guilty about it. You know, I feel like if you're on to bigger and better things, it's pretty common for that other person in the party to kind of want to guilt trip you and make you feel like you're being selfish or something like that. But sometimes when you have to be selfish if the situation that you're standing in is holding you back. So it's totally okay and normal to outgrow people and learn to know when to walk away. Number 3, some of you aren't ready for this one. Okay? Some of you are not ready. They aren't coming back to you because they want you, but they're coming back to you because they want to see if you will still let them. I know someone specific just came into your head right now, okay? This could be friendship, this could be family, this could be romantic relationship, situationship, whatever this toxic cycle is. When there's a person who is playing games, they're manipulating you, they're coming in and out of your life, doing that awkward like push, pull, whole dynamic that is not good for you or your well-being. I know you have someone you're thinking of right now. Please, for the love of God, let them walk away, because that cycle will keep repeating itself and repeating itself until you learn your lesson. If you have a toxic cycle like that, like think of it as God or the universe. Literally, they're testing you over and over again. They're giving you the opportunity to make the right call for once and to stand up for yourself, to stand your ground, to set your boundaries. And if this person keeps trying to come back, they're literally trying to see if you've learned their lesson yet. Because if you keep letting someone in and out of your life, without correcting it and without telling them off and without standing up for yourself, if you keep letting them in and out of your life whenever and wherever, however they please, they will never learn. In fact, what you're teaching them is you are soft. You can't stand up for yourself. You are not going to shut them down because you have a soft spot for them. So what you need to do is self-reflect on the situation, and I'm 99% sure the best bet for you is going to be to stand up for yourself, to say, I know who I am, I know I deserve way better than this, and this is not healthy for either of us. So you got to cut off this toxic cycles. Just because someone's coming back into your life doesn't mean they even want you that badly. That just means that they know that they can, and they want to see how long they can have you in that chokehold, how long they can hold that power over you. But the day that you decide that they no longer have that power, that you're going to stand up for yourself, you are cutting that tie. You are setting yourself free energetically and taking your power back. Like, that's what you need to do. Number 4, people will treat you exactly how they feel about you. And I feel like this comes up oftentimes in like the dating situationship world, but again, this could also go with friends, family, coworkers. You don't need to ask someone word for word how they feel about you. And that's different when it comes to like reassurance in a relationship. That's like healthy reassurance and communication, things like that. But I mean, like, if you have to ask yourself, like, does this person like me? Chances are, at least like 75% of the time, they don't like you if you have to ask yourself that. Like, think of the actions. Actions speak so much louder than words, and that's something else I've really learned to value is the action over the words that are coming out of the mouth. Actually look at what they're doing. Feel the actions of what they're doing, and then answer your own question. You don't need to go around asking. People will show you exactly how they feel about you, and when they do, if you're not happy with the answer, don't try and paint a different picture. Don't try to make excuses for them and try to like twist it in your head and convince yourself that it means something else when it doesn't. Like, take it for what it is. I have Delulu girl syndrome. I've been there, but you have to learn when you need to start to be realistic about things and stop giving people the time of day when they would not do the same for you. And they're showing you exactly how they feel about you, and like, leave it at that. Leave it at that and stop trying to paint a different picture. Number 5 is a silly one, but drinking is not as fun anymore. I don't know if it's because it's legal now that I'm 21 and I don't enjoy it, but I feel like when you're in high school, it's cool to drink. It's cool to smoke. It's cool to vape. It's cool to do everything but what you should actually be doing at that age. But obviously I think it's inevitable for a lot of people to party when they're that young, and you feel so cool while you're doing it and rebellious. Not it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, to each their own. I do not blame you if you drink, and I drink. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I drink. I took a huge drinking break, and now my tolerance is so low. I could have like one drink and I'm drunk, and that's fun. But honestly, like, the whole party club scene, it's not for me. And that's something I've learned at 21. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. And it might be for some of your friends. It might be for other people that you know, and you don't have to judge them for it. I don't judge them for it at all, and I'll go out with my friends to like a bar or something if we're celebrating a birthday or something like that. But honestly, like on a day-to-day, every weekend basis, it's not really my scene. I notice like I would rather do something more wholesome or like get in bed early. I've really learned to value a night in, which is silly because when you're younger, all you want to do is like go out. And okay, let me explain myself. When I'm saying when you're younger, I'm not insinuating that I am not young. I know that 21 is very, very young, but I'm saying like younger, like high school and stuff. Like I feel like that's when I was in my prime. Like I need to go out, I need to get drunk, or even like 2 years ago, I wanted to go out all the time and it was not cute. And I look back and I am a little bit appalled by some of the things that I did in that state, but it's all a learning lesson. We take it and we roll with the punches. And those crazy moments I had, they made me who I am today. I've definitely learned from them. So I think the whole party scene might be a canon event for some people, but I've literally learned to be more in my like wifey era. Like I don't really enjoy going out and talking to people and being in tight crowds and hot and like paying a cover fee to get into a club, like, or drinks, like what? No. Again, everything's good in moderation. I'm not saying I never drink, but I'm saying it's not what it used to be. And I do really think it was more fun when you weren't allowed to do it. I'm not saying drink underage. I'm saying like it's not worth the hype at all. In general, it's just not. Number 6, some of you might disagree with or find debatable. Just because you see each other every day doesn't make you friends. And just because you don't see each other every day doesn't mean you're not friends. So that might sound a little bit cryptic or confusing. Just because you're seeing someone, again, this kind of has to do with based off of like proximity and convenience type friends. But like if you're seeing, for example, a coworker every single day, that person might become your friend, but just because you're seeing them every day, that's not what makes them a friend. It's the value of the friendship. Can you trust this person? Have they shown you loyalty? Have you gotten deep? Do you feel like you really have gotten to know each other? Those are the things that make you a friend. It's not just because you're seeing each other. You have to really get down to the nitty-gritty of like, does this person fit in my life? Could I see this person being a bridesmaid in my wedding? Like, that's how I interpret it. And then something I've also learned getting older, as my friends, we've all become so busy. And even when we're not busy, like a lot of us struggle with burnout and getting overwhelmed and just like mental health, everything, just like I'm sure most 20-year-olds or even teenagers do, maybe even 30-year-olds, everybody goes through it. So, there have been many, many times where the communication between me and some of my best friends gets a little strained. We're not on top of it with the consistent communication, and that's okay because I feel like we all kind of understand each other in the aspect that like, we're busy. We're doing life now. People have school, people have work, and then on top of that, we are dealing with crazy emotions and thoughts and overthinking, and being on your phone all the time can be overwhelming too. So especially friends that are far away. I have my best friend since kindergarten. We are like long distance best friends because she lives in Arizona. But I still consider her my best friend, and we don't even like talk on the phone every day or anything like that. But when we catch up, it is like no time has passed at all. And I have so many good friends like that, friends who I've met from previous jobs or sports or school, anything like that. And those friendships have lasted because they truly withstood not only the test of time, but the test of distance. And I'm not saying neglect your friends by any means. If you are feeling on top of it, by all means, please keep up with them. Please schedule a meetup, get back in touch, keep in touch with them, check up on them on the regular basis. But what I'm saying is real friends will not hold it against each other if you are falling back a little bit and if you communicate, that you're just going through something right now and it's not the easiest for you to be communicating or catching up all the time. Life gets busy, but again, it's those friendships that withstand the test of time and distance. Those are the ones that are the real ones. I feel like in immature friendships, like friends would be like, you haven't hung out with me for 1 week, you're not a true friend. Like, that's not what a friendship means. The quality of friendship is not calculated or measured by how often you hang out with the person. That's just not how it works. And I feel like as teenagers and things like that, like that's the perception that we have in our head of friendship and how to tell whether or not it's a real friend, like how often you hang out. But it's really not about that at all. It's about the quality of friendship. Can you trust them? Are they loyal to you? Will they be your shoulder to cry on? Will they be the bridesmaid at your wedding? That's the real question. Number 7, overthinking can be your worst enemy. Take this from the most anxious attachment style girly you have ever met. I am working on it, and I'm not saying that I know overthinking is your worst enemy because I've perfected it. I'm saying this because I've lived it, because I have so many little thoughts in my head, and it's literally just me. It's me contradicting the facts in front of my face. Like, someone can say, like, oh my gosh, Brie, like, you are so beautiful and gorgeous. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, do they mean that? Is that even true? Who even am I? What do I even look like? Like, that was an exaggeration. But sometimes the anxiety talks, the overthinking talks, it takes over, and it will drive you insane. And overthinking is powerful enough to ruin your friendships, to ruin your relationships. So I highly suggest trying to analyze those anxious overthinking thoughts and catching them while you're ahead, catching them before they expand into something bigger. Like, I try really, really hard to self-soothe, and I'm working on it, okay? I am not saying this again because I have perfected it. I'm saying it because I am in the process of learning it. But self-soothing is basically trying to talk myself down. Basically, when I have a little overthinking anxious thought that's not really logical, because I move with emotion, but logic is just the facts in front of your face. And I'm trying to, focus more on that. So when I'm having anxious, overthinking thoughts, I try to switch and try to think of it logically. It doesn't always work, but I'm working on it. A journal can really help with this. Talking to someone, therapy, or even just a friend can also really help with this, and just communicating with other people and yourself when you're overthinking, because it can be a pain in the butt. Number 8, think back to those toxic back and forth relationships, whether this is a friendship, romantic partner, situationship, family member. That toxic relationship is in fact traumatizing you more than you realize, and it will more than likely come up to haunt you in your future relationships if you don't heal. Healing from those toxic relationships is so, so crucial in order to build healthy relationships going forward. And I learned this because my last relationship was extremely toxic and abusive and horrible for me. And I did take time before jumping into my next relationship, thank goodness. But like those people who they're going from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, and they are just never healing. They are never doing the inner work. They are never finding themselves after all of that. In toxic relationships, I think you quite literally lose yourself in. And so you have to find yourself afterwards. And especially when you get into a relationship at such a young age, when you come out of that, you're a completely different person. And there's so much to learn about yourself and your life and your future that you don't even know yet, because you've been tied up in this toxic cycle for so long. So you have to really take the time to heal from toxic relationships and work on finding yourself. You have to be truly okay being alone so you can put your best foot forward into other relationships. Because there are things, even in my current relationship, after I did take time before getting into my next one, but I don't think I fully dove deep down into the things that I went through. I think when you're in an abusive relationship, it's easy to kind of just laugh it off and brush it off because you don't even want to address it. You kind of just shove it under the rug. I think that's very, very common. But if you don't really unpack that, we're going to have some issues, because I do notice some things coming up that I didn't even realize were trauma responses, or things that I went through that were triggering me. But the way I react in certain situations now with my current relationship, or just in day-to-day situations, something random will come up that I didn't even realize. And I'm like, wait a second, I do this because of my last relationship and because of that toxic cycle. And that's why I think it's super, super crucial to unpack all of your trauma. Really work on that. Journal, shadow work, therapy is so important. I really want to get a therapist. I'm really excited. That's going to be in my 22 journey. I can't wait. I'm going to get a therapist. I'll let you guys know how it goes. But overall, you can't keep lying to yourself and shoving things under the rug. You really have to unpack that if you want to level up and learn from it. You don't grow from it unless you fully unpack it, analyze it, and heal from it, and then you grow, and you just learned an amazing lesson that you could teach and bring with you throughout life. Number 9, I stand on business with this one. You should not have to prove to someone that you're special. This brings us to the pink diamond theory. If you have not listened to the pink diamond theory, that is my number 1 signature episode. You have to listen to it. It's so underrated. But pink diamond theory ultimately is there's a girl and her father gives her this pink diamond one day and says, go take this around the village. When someone asks you how much it costs, hold up just 2 fingers. So he sends her off. The daughter goes first to the baker. The baker asks how much for the pink diamond. The girl holds up 2 fingers and he says, $2, I'll take it. The girl knows that her diamond is worth far more than just $2, so she kindly declines the offer, moves on to the next. She decides to go to the antique store. She goes to the antique store. He asks her how much for the diamond. She holds up just 2 fingers, and he said, $2,000? I don't think so. Not worth it for me. Rejects her. And so he thinks she's asking for $2,000, and he does not even think it's worth $2,000. So she is out of there. No diamond, no sale. So Mr. Baker thinks the diamond's only worth $2. The antique guy thinks that it's worth less than $2,000. He doesn't even want it. He thinks that's too expensive. He thinks that's asking too much. Finally, our sweet girl goes to the jeweler. When she walks into the jeweler, she holds out the diamond. The jeweler asks how much. She holds up just 2 fingers and he says $2 million. That is a fair price for such a rare stone. If you haven't picked up by now, you are the pink diamond. The right person will see your worth and they will think like you are walking in like God himself sent you, and they will do anything, any price, go to any length, the ends of the earth to obtain you, to care for you, to love you. You don't need a baker. You need a jeweler. The right person will know how to hold your love. And people can only meet you as deeply as they have met themselves. So just because someone else doesn't see their worth, that has nothing to directly correlate with you. That has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Because physically, you guys aren't even on the same playing field. I know people hate the term high value woman, but if you are a super high value woman, I'm going to use the word, and someone else who, maybe they aren't really in your league. Maybe they don't have much to offer. Maybe they're not on the same wavelength or energy as you. They won't understand it. They simply just won't understand. And when you ask for a lot, they will look at you like you are crazy for asking for so much. But really, you shouldn't even have to ask. You deserve the world. You deserve princess treatment. You deserve someone who will do anything to get you and to keep you. So if someone else is not giving you that, don't waste your time, because there is a jeweler out there waiting for you. But you can't stand in front of them, waving your arms in front of them, saying hey, 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 I'm worth more. Please see me, choose me, pick me, love me. No, don't do that. The girl in the pink diamond story, she did not try to barter. She did not try to negotiate. She did not say hey, do you think maybe you could meet me at, $300 instead of $2? No, she did not even try to negotiate that. She knew what she was worth, and that where she was, they were never going to see that. So she did not try to explain it herself. She just took her pink diamond and she walked away and she moved on to the next, and she kept on moving until she came across someone who fully saw her worth, and she didn't even have to ask. He just knew. You're the pink diamond, okay? Okay. Number 10, value and cherish your sleep and your rest. This might sound silly, but again, this kind of ties into the whole party scene thing that I was getting on. I feel like when I was younger, I thought it was such a flex that I never slept, because I didn't. My whole life, I've had a horrible, horrible sleep schedule. I don't know where it came from. Maybe partially anxiety. I haven't gotten diagnosed with insomnia. I don't even know where you go to get diagnosed for that. And then also being on your phone late at night, things like that. It'll mess you up. It's so bad for your circadian rhythm and for your hormone balance also, but overall just your sleep. It will catch up to you. I am these days, this past week, because I've been so stressed doing stuff for my birthday, I could literally see bags under my eyes. I have makeup on right now, so if you're watching, you might be like, you look fine, but no. I am looking, even with makeup, I looked in my mirror today when I was driving and I was like, holy, your girl looks tired. She looks tired. So I'm hoping for more sleep in my next year of life, because it will catch up to you. And, I think when you get older, you literally just can't sleep. So, let's sleep while we can. Let's all sleep while we can and grow strong and healthy and have balanced circadian rhythms. I feel like I go to sleep before midnight, maybe a couple times a month. And that is so bad. Fixing your sleep schedule is important, and it's not cool to not rest. I feel like it used to be oh, you got 6 hours of sleep last night? Well, I got 4.5. That's not cool. It's not a flex. I want to be that girl who'd be oh, Like, I got 9 hours of sleep, but good for you guys. Like, that's what I'm going for. Because what? Why would we always think it was cool to not sleep? Or was that just me? It felt so, like, edgy and rebellious. But no, you need sleep. Number 11, you cannot revolve your life around a guy. It will quite literally drive you insane. And don't get me wrong, I am not a man hater. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't need them to survive. Isn't that the TikTok sound, like word for word? But it's so true. Like, you can date men, you can love men, you can be in love with a man, date around, whatever, but you need to know that you will be okay with or without him. It could be the love of your life standing in front of you. You need to know that you will live without him. Because the truth is, if someone leaves, if a guy leaves you, you're still gonna wake up tomorrow. You're still gonna have to go to work. You're still going to have to face your family and your friends. You're still going to have to go to school, whatever your other obligations are. The world will keep turning. The sun is going to rise again tomorrow. Like, that breakup is not going to kill you. You are not yourself because of this boy. You were whole before him. You will be whole after him. It doesn't matter. And even if this is the person that you're hypothetically going to spend the rest of your life with, like, I don't want to sound like I am anti-love. I am the biggest hopeless romantic. Oh my gosh, all I think about all day is love, love, love. Like, seriously, I eat that shit up. But I need to know I will be okay without it. You have to have enough love within yourself that you don't need it from other people. Another person should add onto your life, but they don't complete it. That's why it's not like two halves making a whole when you're in a relationship. It should be two wholes coming together to make like one beautiful picture together. But you guys need to learn how to operate without each other. My last relationship was so crazy codependent, and I felt like neither of us really knew how to function alone. Or I did, but I just felt like I shouldn't be functioning alone, which is so bizarre, so toxic, yeah. But in my current relationship, it's really nice because I don't feel that constant like anxiety feeling like, oh my gosh, if he doesn't text me back, or if I don't see him like every single day this week, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, no, I actually know how to function like a regular human being with or without him. My time with him is so nice, and I love being around him, and he adds so much value and positivity to my life. But I need to know, even if this is a person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, I need to hold myself accountable, and being that if God forbid anything ever happen, I need to know that I will be okay. Again, not because I don't think things aren't going to work out with him, but just because like you need to learn how to stand alone by yourself. Because when you let go of yourself like that, that's when you become so invested in the other person, and it's so easy to lose yourself in someone else, especially when you're in love. So don't lose sight of yourself. You can love other people, but your life does not need to revolve around them. Your life should revolve around you. Place yourself on the pedestal, and the rest will follow and fall into place. Number 12, someone else's timeline or path is not the same as yours, so don't compare it. Guys, comparison is literally the thief of joy. With social media and everything especially, we see it all the time. People are constantly flexing their new cars or their fancy trips, or they have your dream ideal body. There is so much more to the story. It's so easy to compare also. Like, for example, everyone who graduated my class in high school back in 2020, they are now this year, most of them just graduated college. And I'm here talking to my camera in my room with no degree, not a single one. And you know, it might feel easy for me to look at them and be like, wow, like I really fell behind, and they're all, you know, moving on with their lives and getting their degrees and their big girl jobs and all this stuff. And like they all had that college experience and their sororities and their frats, and I just had none of it, and I've been home this whole time. It would be easy for me to do that. It would be easy for me to compare and to think that the grass is greener on the other side. But like the grass is never actually greener on the other side, first of all. And then like I look, and sure, they're all experiencing amazing things, and that's the path for them. And I am truly happy for them. That looks like a great experience. But I can also say I've experienced double the things that they have, or I've experienced things that they will never experience, at least at this age. What I've experienced at 21 years old is completely different to what they've experienced at 21 years old, and vice versa, you know? I didn't experience living in a dorm, but they also didn't experience having a podcast and going on dating shows and going to New York Fashion Week, fun things like that. You know, everyone's situation is completely different. And that's why you have to not compare, because you never know the full story. And also, their path is their path for a reason. You know, like, this is Brianna's story. This is my life. It's not your life. Like, don't feel like you're behind just because your life doesn't look exactly like someone else's. Why would you want your life to be a carbon copy of someone else's? Everyone's journeys and stories are so individual and unique to them, which is truly the beauty of it. Also, I know some people who are going through like weird things of seeing people they know from high school and stuff getting married, which that's a trip. That's a trip for real. And I know, like, especially like when you start hitting like your 30s or even some people in their higher 20s, guys, you have all the time in the world. Please, please listen to me. There is no rush. There is no rush at all. You have your whole life. Don't look at someone else's timeline and think that you feel behind, because theirs is completely different than yours. Years down the line, you are going to be so glad that you are where you are right now in this moment. You know, if someone is getting married right now and you are feeling like jealous and like, oh my God, like I'm so behind, like my life hasn't even started yet. Well, think of it this way, like they are going to be fighting like an old married couple so much earlier. They are going to be stressed out with kids, probably not financially stable. Like, everyone's situation is so different, but you don't know the whole story. You don't know the situation. And I started this thing because it's so easy. Like, when you think of our parents, like, you know, for example, that trend where it's like my mom at 22, like getting married, versus me at 22, when it's like asking your mom to make the doctor's appointments for you, which is so relatable. I think that I've noticed our generation, we're kind of starting to push things back a little bit when it comes to adulthood, and I really, really love it. And it's not falling behind or being immature. I'm calling it extending your youth, because if hypothetically we have our entire lives to be old, because we do, that's not even hypothetical. We have our entire lives to grow old. We have our entire lives to meet someone, to fall in love, to raise a family, to work a 9-to-5 job. Like, it's okay if you want to chill for a little bit. It's okay. There is no rush. We are not in a time crunch. You have so much time. So just focus on enjoying your youth and living in the present, because it goes by really, really fast. And before you know it, you're going to be old with kids. So don't rush into it, if that's your plan, obviously. But either way, regardless, you're going to be old one day. Like, why are you rushing? Calm down. Live in the moment. Number 13. I can't even say this one. Stop being embarrassed of your family and value them. When I was younger, and this happened with my sister and everything too. Gosh, I can get into a whole family trauma episode if I really wanted to. I did not have a close relationship with my parents ever growing up. Like, I did not want my parents to meet significant others or friends. And that's mainly because my older siblings, like, they did not do it like that either. Like, no one ever brought anyone like home to meet my parents, and it was just weird. And so I felt like I had to hide like that part of my life also. Not like keep it a secret, but like, anyway, regardless, like when my boyfriend met my dad, like it just went so well and I wasn't embarrassed at all. And when you're young, I feel like it's like, ew, mom, like you're so embarrassing. Don't wear that. Or at least that's how I was. Like, I was literally like, mom, don't wear that in front of my friends. Pick me up down the street so no one sees me. Like, that is so sad. That is so sad. And I feel so bad. And also, I started having this like weird thought that like, what if the way you treat your parents, that's how your kids will treat you in the future? And I was like, but yeah, I don't know. Your time with family is sometimes so short. So cherish it, and like that's your family. So at the end of the day, like work through the issues if you can. I know some people have like other exceptions to the rule with their family situation. You know, maybe it's toxic, maybe it's not healthy. So this is just broadly, generally speaking, like all of this advice is. I know there's exceptions to everything I'm saying. Just want to make that clear, but that's my experience with it. Number 14, sad music is not an all the time thing. And I know this one might sound silly, but you know, last year I was in my situationship era and I was loving the sad Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo on 24/7, but I didn't realize how much that like directly correlates to your mood. So now I try listening to happier music or like podcasts, something beneficial to at least like my mood or my brain. I don't never listen to that stuff. Like sometimes it hits, but like set yourself a limit. But if you're listening to sad music all day, every day, it will make you sad. it will make you sad. And that's a silly little thing I learned, but I also feel like that's an easy fix for us to adjust. I'm not saying never listen to sad music. It does hit sometimes. Like when you're actually sad, especially when it's that time of the month, like do it. By all means, go for it. But I just mean on a 24/7 repeat loop cycle, sad music, that's going to make you a little extra sad. Number 15, don't hide things from your friends to make someone look better. I feel like we've all done this or know someone who's done this, intentionally like omitting information from your friends to make someone else look better because you know they're not going to like the person if you tell them the truth. This often happens in the dating world, I feel like when a date did not go that well, and like you want to try to make the guy look better because you want things to work out with him or you want your friends to like him. So you kind of like sugarcoat it a little bit. Like if he didn't pay for your meal or open your door, but like you'll try to justify it to them, or you just won't tell them the bad parts of things. But if they're a true friend, you can really tell them everything. And also you really do need a second opinion. If this is someone who's going to be in your life and you truly do value your friendships, you should be telling them the truth. You should be getting their true opinion and perspective on it because it could actually be very useful. So stop lying to your friends or leaving things out at like the expense of someone else's reputation, because if it's true, you just gotta tell them. Number 16, things that are meant to you will come to you easily. And by this, I mean you do not have to cling on to things for dear life in order for them to work out. But I don't want to get this like misinterpreted. Like I don't mean give up on your dreams if something doesn't seem to be working out and you really want it. But I mean like you will know when you are where you are meant to be in life. Friendships, relationships, job opportunities, interests, hobbies, anything really. All opportunities in life. Basically, it's the quote, you know something is from God when it's not confusing. And of course, there are exceptions to this, but generally speaking, if something is meant to be in your life, you will know. You will feel it. But that uneasy feeling that you get, that's your intuition, and you shouldn't have to cling on to something or force it into your life for it to be there. You know that feeling when it feels like everything is kind of just falling into place? I feel like this happened recently with like my clothing line or my modeling opportunities. Everything was just kind of happening for me, and it hadn't been happening for me in so long. And I kind of had that moment where I was like, I think this is what I'm meant to be doing, because it just felt so easy and it felt like a gift. Number 17, family relationships can be just as toxic, if not more, than romantic ones. And same thing with friendships. I feel like we often disregard family or friendships because relationships just seem so much more important sometimes. But I didn't even realize like there were some things I've gone through where I was like, wait, like I think I'm also a little bit, and I don't want to be like, oh, family trauma. But I think I also have a lot to learn from that. And I didn't realize that like this family dynamic was affecting me in a certain way, because like you're just like, oh, well, that's my family. And that's just how it is. And we kind of excuse their behavior because, what can you do about it? But it is important to talk these things through, or at least think them through with yourself, or look for guidance from somebody, because family situations and relationships can affect you more than you realize. Number 18, not everyone in life is meant to stay forever. This kind of piggybacks on top of like it's okay to outgrow people, but you have to let people come in and out of your life as they please. And I feel like, sometimes we get so used to the idea that someone is in our life and they're going to be here forever. But really, you have to take each person and each thing you experience as a lesson. Otherwise, going through romantic or friendship breakups or family members coming and going into your life, it's really hard to get over them if you don't take it as a lesson. So think of every situation you've been through with them. What did you learn from this? And that's your takeaway. And all those memories and everything with them, like just because they're leaving, that doesn't erase those. They were a huge part of your story. They were an essential building block to your life and this beautiful person that you're becoming. But if they're not fitting into your life anymore, that's okay. And that is totally normal. Not everyone is meant to stay. Sometimes they were just meant to be a good memory and a lesson. Number 19, cherish alone time and getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself is just as important. Building a relationship with yourself and treating yourself like someone that you love is so crucial. Like, take yourself on dates, be comfortable alone in your silence, journal, talk to yourself, think to yourself, like truly get to know yourself, because self-love is literally at the core of everything in your life. All of your relationships, your confidence, your self-concept, your family, like everything. Yourself, you are the center of all of that, and you have to take care of yourself and truly learn to fall in love with yourself in order to, know yourself on a deeper level first before growing your relationships with others. And same thing with being secure and strongly, deeply rooted within yourself and being able to build on top of that. But you have to know who you are at the core in order to take that anywhere else in life. Like, it all starts with you. So treat yourself like somebody you love and love yourself the way you wish you could be loved by other people. You don't need love from anybody else. Like, the love that you need is already right inside of you. So focus on projecting that love and redirecting it right back to the center of you. Number 20, whatever it is you're worrying about now, most likely will not matter in 5 years. That embarrassing encounter you had, that breakup you're going through, that bully, that crush you have, whatever you're freaking out about right now, and I'm a hypocrite because I freak out about a lot of things, but it's that rule, like, if it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend over 5 minutes worrying about it. Honestly, like, 5 minutes is too much. If you do the math and calculate all the things you've spent 5 minutes worrying on, like, that you shouldn't have and that aren't gonna matter in 5 years, you wasted a lot of minutes, my friend. And I'm not saying I don't do that, because I do. But like that rude customer that you had, that, like, don't let that ruin your day. Don't let these little things keep ruining your day or your week or your whole entire vibe. Don't let them ruin your perception of you, because someone else's actions do not define you. These little situations and bumps in the road, those do not define you. Whatever it is you're worrying about, it's not going to matter in 5 years, so don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. Again, that's what I need to focus on learning, because I'm working on that one. Like we've discussed. We're overthinkers here, but I'm trying. And lastly, number 21, as my last 21-year-old lesson, time starts to go by quicker and quicker. Be present in the moment while you're here. Take time off your phone. Take time to really engage with people, to actually build deep, meaningful connections, to look around at the life that you have and be so grateful to be where you are in this exact moment. There are so many gifts from God that we experience on a day-to-day basis, from like the sunset to the birds chirping to like the breeze in your hair. This sounds so cliche, but I truly mean it. Like, there is so much beauty in day-to-day life, but we are so focused on the future. We are so focused on what we're doing tomorrow or a year from now. Like, I have this issue where I look so far into the future and I need to micromanage and control everything, but I'm really trying to learn how to let go of that and just be present and be here with you guys and be here with the people that I love, because time goes by in an instant. Like I was saying at the beginning of this episode, like, I swear it was just like the beginning of summer. It was just Christmas time, and now we're about to do it all over again. Life truly does go by in the blink of an eye. It's like the whole Ferris Bueller quote, like, life moves really fast. Like, it does. It really does move so quickly, and you will miss it if you don't look up from your phone, if you don't step back, take a deep breath, and really just admire the bigger picture of things and be in the moment. That is my biggest advice I could give to you. And I believe that wraps up my first episode as a 22-year-old, last one as a 21-year-old, whichever one you want to call it. Happy birthday to us. Let's celebrate together. Thanks for coming to my birthday party. This was really nice. I feel like a little bit emotional right now. I don't know. But anyway, I'm so happy to be continuing this journey with you guys. This is something that I do truly feel called to be doing, and just like being here with you guys, it feels very natural and it feels very right. And I hope it's something that we can continue doing together and growing together for a long, long time to come. Don't forget to add me on my other socials to keep up with us at Hot Unbothered on Instagram and TikTok, at Brianna Gomez with 2 B's on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. I love you guys so, so much. I'm so, so grateful for every single one of you, and I will see you next Bday. Bye. Mwah.